The accidental leak that shook national security, how a journalist was included in war plans. A shocking mistake that reads like fiction. Imagine waking up to a message thread filled with some of the most powerful national security figures in the United States, openly discussing classified military operations. Now, imagine that you were never meant to be there. This is not the plot of a political thriller. It is exactly what happened to Jeffrey Goldberg, the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic. In a shocking and almost surreal blunder, he was mistakenly added to a signal chat where senior US national security leaders were debating an imminent airstrike on the Houthis in Yemen. Initially, Goldberg believed it to be a prank. The idea that the highest levels of the US government would be casually discussing war plans in a group chat, let alone including an outsider, seemed too absurd to be real. But the situation escalated rapidly as the debate over whether to proceed with the strike unfolded in real time. Goldberg could only watch in disbelief. A message from the Secretary of Defense at 11:44 a.m. on March 15th confirmed that the bombings were about to commence. 2 hours later, explosions lit up Yemen, and Goldberg, now fully aware that he had been given access to an extraordinarily sensitive operation, saw the attack unfold on social media. This mistake was not just a moment of carelessness. It was a catastrophic failure of operational security that exposed deeply classified information and potentially violated federal laws. It raises urgent questions about how such a breach could have occurred, what risks were created by this lapse, and what consequences should follow for those responsible. The signal chat in question, titled the PC Small Group, was reportedly created by National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. The group was composed of some of the most senior officials in the administration, including Vice President Vance, the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of State, the CIA Director, and the Director of National Intelligence. A total of 18 high-ranking individuals participated in the discussion, debating the justification for and potential consequences of an airstrike targeting the Houthis, who had been attacking ships in the Red Sea. During this discussion, Goldberg was able to witness highly sensitive deliberations, including intelligence assessments that suggested waiting a few weeks or even a month would not significantly alter the strategic outcome. The Secretary of Defense even warned that, if the existence of the chat leaked, the administration could appear indecisive. Ironically, this very concern became reality as Goldberg found himself inadvertently at the center of the leak. The messages also revealed the deeply casual and at times inappropriate tone in which these matters were being discussed. Following the strikes, several officials celebrated with emojis, including praying hands, flexing biceps, and American flags, as if reacting to a sports victory rather than a military operation. This reaction raises concerns about the mindset and seriousness with which these officials approach national security decisions, reinforcing the need for greater oversight and discipline in such discussions. The fundamental question in this scandal is how Goldberg was included in the chat in the first place. The most plausible explanation is that his name was confused with that of a government official, resulting in his inadvertent addition to the group. However, the sheer recklessness of the mistake suggests systemic flaws in the way classified information is shared among top officials. If one journalist could be mistakenly added to such a sensitive conversation, how many other security vulnerabilities exist that have yet to be discovered? The ramifications of this error are severe. There is a strong legal argument that sharing classified military plans, even accidentally, violates provisions of the Espionage Act, which governs the handling of national defense information. At the very least, this incident represents an egregious lapse in protocol that has drawn scrutiny from legal experts and national security professionals alike. Beyond the legal ramifications, the potential consequences of this mistake from a security perspective cannot be overstated. If Goldberg had been an adversarial intelligence operative rather than a journalist, he could have relayed the information to the Houthis or other foreign actors, giving them crucial intelligence ahead of the strike. The Houthis could have used this warning to take defensive action, potentially neutralizing the attack or launching retaliatory strikes against US forces or Allied targets in the Red Sea. The result could have been a direct loss of American or Allied lives, an escalation of hostilities and even a broader conflict in the region. Former Defense Secretary Leon Panetta has called the situation a serious blunder that demands immediate investigation. So far, the White House has not denied the authenticity of the messages, instead attempting to frame the chat as a part of a broader, well-reasoned policy discussion on military strategy. But this spin does little to mitigate the gravity of the breach. In response, the administration must conduct a full-scale inquiry into how this mistake happened, who was responsible, and what security protocols failed to prevent it. The most immediate priority should be identifying the individual who added Goldberg to the group chat. Whether this was a careless administrative error or a sign of deeper incompetence, accountability is necessary. This incident should also prompt a serious reassessment of how national security officials communicate sensitive information. While encrypted messaging apps like Signal offer a degree of security, they also introduce significant risks when used improperly. The fact that top officials were casually discussing war plans in a group chat rather than through more secure and structured channels is itself a cause for concern. This situation demands stricter policies on how classified discussions are conducted to prevent similar breaches in the future. The accidental inclusion of a journalist in a classified military discussion is not just an embarrassing oversight, it is a stark warning about the dangers of lax security practices in the digital age. This incident was a lucky break. The information landed in the hands of a journalist who, while shocked, acted responsibly. But the next time a mistake of this magnitude occurs, the recipient may not be so benign. As modern communication tools become more integrated into government operations, the risks of information leaks and security breaches increase exponentially. This episode underscores the urgent need for better controls, more disciplined communication practices, and a heightened awareness of cybersecurity at the highest levels of government. The US cannot afford another mistake like this, because next time the consequences could be far worse. Thanks for watching.